Hello friends, welcome to your cardio set of the day with kettlebells. This is a class that I definitely recommend that you have a kettlebell with, although you can use a dumbbell for the last part of class when we practice push presses and quadruped passes, but kettlebell is preferred just because we're practicing some dead stop cleans, makes it a little more user-friendly there. You also want a bell that you can two-hand swing, something that feels sturdy and solid for 10 reps. We're gonna do a nice big set of two-hand swings in the beginning part for some cardio, and I'm gonna walk you through a warm-up right now where you do need a kettlebell for. We're gonna go for an arm bar for the first thing, so it should be nice and light. If you're newer to arm bars, feel free to do this without a weight to work on getting your body in the correct position, and then add the weight once you feel really stable here. We're gonna go through this one time through. So for your kettlebell arm bar, let's go ahead and bring your lightweight or just your bod down to the floor. We're gonna lay down. I'm gonna talk you through a few things that we're doing in the program today as we do the warm up and give you these cues for the arm bar. So let's go ahead, roll it onto the floor. You're gonna start into this like you would a Turkish get up. So head is on the floor, you're in a fetal position, bottom hand wraps around the bell, you're gonna pull it to your chest. Then I want you to push it up over your head. This might just be your bare arm. If that's the case, knuckles are up to the ceiling in both ways. I want you to bring your opposite leg of the bell straight, flex that foot. Opposite leg of the arm right along the line of your ear. Your whole body should look like a nice straight line here. And then use your bent leg side foot to push yourself over. So I know I'm not facing you guys right here, but I'm starting to kind of nestle my hip towards the floor, and I'm trying to maintain that straight line. So my arm is not in front of my body here, it's along the line of my ear. My peripheral vision is on the kettlebell. I'm not sticking my rib cage out, I'm pushing my knuckles to the ceiling and kind of my head into my ear, and just relaxing a bit here. Maybe tucking your chin a little towards your armpit will make you feel a nice stretch in your neck. So today we're gonna be push pressing, so this is getting us ready for that. When you do your push presses today, advanced people, I want this to feel like a nice big bell, something heavy for you. If you're more intermediate level, I want you to treat this more like a technique session. You're definitely gonna get your heart rate up today, but you have to work on holding this stable position in your shoulder before you can really do anything fast-paced overhead with a weight. So this arm bar is a great place to practice that. If you feel shaky here, if you're bending, you might not feel good holding a weight over your head and getting it up there really fast, which is what we're doing today. I'm gonna give you a modification of just doing dead stop cleans. If this arm bar is not working for you today, as far as the overhead position is concerned, or I should say the locked out position of your arm, let's go ahead and roll onto your back. I want you to grab it with the other hand, pull it down to your chest, and then roll yourself to your side. You can bring the bell around your head, or you can sit up and do it, because if you have longer hair like me or a ponytail, or you're just nervous about whacking yourself in the face, perfect reason to not do that. And you know, sometimes it works. Okay, so go ahead, lay down. Let's do the same thing, fetal position always. Push the bell up, arm along the line of your ear, opposite leg straight. We're gonna push ourselves forward, roll onto our side here, gazing up at that kettlebell. Booty should be nice and tight here. I'm reaching my arm up. So remember, your option today is a dead stop clean instead of your push press. When you're push pressing, you're going to be using your lower body. This is not a strict press like we did in the class before this. So that lower body power is what's going to help you get the bell over your head. So again, advanced people, something nice and heavy for you today. For your swings today, when we get to those, you're going to be doing 10 reps on the minute for 10 minutes. That means you're doing 100 kettlebell swings. Start thinking about that. If you're somebody that isn't confident swinging yet, I want you to practice goblet cleans. So you're going to be using the same amount of power to bring the bell up in a vertical line instead of a horizontal line in front of you. And it's really the same thing. You probably will just have to take your reps down to maybe 5 because it's a little slower when you clean the bell versus when it's in motion in the air and you're swinging it. So you're definitely gonna get your heart rate up, definitely gonna get a little bit of booty work along with your hip power today in those swings. We're gonna be hitting that after we finish this set here, finishing up our arm bar in about 10 seconds. Maybe tuck that chin. I get a nice juicy stretch on this side when I tuck my chin. My right side's a little tighter because this is my typing hand. This is the one that I am texting with and scrolling with and using to write with. So your dominant side, you might feel a little more neck tension. It's very common. Let's go ahead and roll onto your back here. Pull the kettlebell to your chest with both hands. Very important, roll to the fetal position. Let that thing bring you to the ground. You never want to just drop it down and kind of plop it with your shoulder. Those are the moments we get injured in our sets. Okay, let's go ahead and hit some good mornings with a kettlebell here. You're gonna bring it behind your back. When we do these, you're not gonna pick it up behind your back. You're gonna actually pick it up through your deadlift position, bring it behind your back like so, bring your feet hip width apart. Now we're gonna think of shooting our butt back into the kettlebell, bringing our weight forward into the soles of our feet, Should feel your hamstrings. Now I want you to try to pull your inner thighs together, keeping your feet where they are as you hinge. Very good. We're gonna go with kind of minimal knee bend here. So if you're actually moving down in space, if your shoulders are significantly moving down with your hips, that means you're squatting. That's not really what we wanna do here. Keep sending the booty back. You don't have to look over to the side like I am. I'm just trying to not ignore you guys here in the camera. So send your butt into the bell. Butt into bell. My toes should not be lifting. I'm moving my weight a little forward here. Maybe pulling my inner thighs in, sticking my booty cheeks up and out. Oh yeah, that's some hamstring there. I want you to take about 3 more of these on your own and start thinking about the difference between we squatted in the last class to when we're hinging right now in this good morning. That's gonna stay the same when we do our dead stop cleans and our kettlebell swings today. Last thing we have, go ahead, set your bell down after your 3rd rep, is an open and close the book set. We're gonna alternate our sides at 20 seconds here on the clock. So what we're gonna do, come back into that position we did with the arm bar, except the knees are gonna come to the side, the arms are out to the side. You're gonna take your right arm, roll it around your head, and then give your left arm a little clap, or left hand a little clap. Roll it back around to where it came from. So I'm really reaching and rolling myself over, a little clap, and then going to the other side. We're gonna have enough time to maybe get 4 to 5 reps in with this one. And if you have a tight middle part of your back, this is a good one to work on. I'm lifting my hand slightly so I don't hit this kettlebell. Just make sure that you don't have a lot obstructing you. Let's go ahead and take our legs to the opposite side here. So now you can see my arm goes around my head here. I'm rolling, I'm reaching, trying not to move my shoulder too much. I don't want to like flop down. I want to try to get all of that range of motion here to really get that stretch in my back, in my shoulders, bringing that hand over. So we're opening up the book, right? We are closing the book. I'm just giving you a little extra roll of your shoulders in this one to get ourselves warm. Never a bad idea, especially when we kettlebell train. A lot of tension can happen in our backs. We hold our weights at our chest a lot here. You gotta work on getting that part strong, not just the traps and the neck. You're gonna notice if they're sticking up or they're constantly tight here, you might be lacking some upper back strength or mobility. Let's go ahead, rest in 3, 2, and 1. Guys, you did it. Let's go ahead, get that big kettlebell out for kettlebell swings. Advanced people, this should feel challenging for you. Intermediate people, maybe you're gonna take your rep count down to 8. Maybe you stick with 10. Beginners, you have that goblet clean. I just want the weight to be somewhat heavy for you. So go ahead and get that bell out and we'll get started with this 10-minute, every minute on the minute sequence. We take on this set of kettlebell swings together. I'm gonna give you guys tips and tricks to make your swings really good because this is about a learning process. That means if you're a beginner, listen up to things that maybe you will incorporate later. And if you're more advanced, you might pick up a few cues that really help you to make your swings pop even more because we want ultimate power here. We're gonna go for our swings in just about 30 seconds. I want you to get your bell out. We're gonna spend this first 30 seconds on our setup. You're gonna step behind it with 2 feet and make a triangle with your feet in the bell. Then I want you to push your hands into your hip crease and actually feel those slightly move back. Now stand up straight again. Now I want you to think of taking a big breath out through your nose and mouth and feeling your rib cage pull down. Once you feel that tightness, I want you to breathe into that stacked rib cage over pelvis and then push your hips back as far as they'll go with your weight in your heels and your toes not coming up. Push the sole of your feet down, tickle the handle of your bell and pull it towards you. Drag it on the floor a little bit. Keep all of that. Now give me 10 big swings. 3, 2, and 1. Remember, you are taking 8 swings if you're more of an intermediate level. You haven't been swinging for a while. Let's say that too. You're going to take goblet cleans if you're more of that beginner to intermediate and you're not confident swinging for this amount of sets and reps. That was 1 set down. This set, start prepping your stance, getting ready for your start right now. And I want you to think of, before that first swing, you're gonna drag it and raise your hips with the bell. So if you're popping the booty before the bell comes up, that's gonna go straight to your lower back. So I want you to concentrate on keeping your butt down in this set. I'm gonna demo that here. You guys go for your 10 swings in 3, 2, and 1. That is round 2 getting underway. So this is what it looks like. My butt stays low with the bell. If you do this and then swing, you're losing all the power from your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, your hips. You're putting most of it in your back. You don't want to do that. That's when swings start getting problematic here. So if you are working on that, you can practice just doing these little half swings, keeping your butt down. Practice a few of those and then launch into your swings. You could take this time as an opportunity to do that. You have 30 seconds before you go into set 3 of your swings. This time I want you to be aware of your weight moving back in your heels as your hips go back, moving forward into your feet as you stand up. Remember, your toes should not be lifting, your feet should not be shifting, but your weight should be shifting with the bell back and slightly forward as you stand up into that tall plank at the top. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So if you're taking the drill, it might look like, let's try 1 or 2 of these, and then launch into 8 swings. If you're taking the drill, I want you to count those reps of the drill as part of your swings. We're finishing up that 3rd set here. We're gonna go into our 4th set, and then you're almost halfway through. This time I want you to concentrate on standing up tall. We're not here, we're not here. You gotta finish it and land like your body is in a tall plank. You have just about 20 seconds until you start. Slow yourself down through this program if you are still progressing your swings. Advanced people, I want you to progress your endurance and working with a heavy weight for you for 10 reps. This is a great way to work power, cardio with a kettlebell, and also awesome if you sit at a desk or in a chair for long periods of time in the day. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Hips go back. So maybe you start here, maybe you go here, and take those really tall swings. Some of you might benefit from actually swinging the bell a little high to get yourself standing up. Notice if you like to swing your hips through a little too much and you get this little crank here in your back, that means your weight's going a little too far forward. Good way to look at this for yourself is to actually film yourself doing a few sets. You don't have to be a damn influencer to film yourself. You can put up your camera on the floor, prop it up on something, and then rewind. I know it can be slightly horrifying to watch yourself sometimes. Rewind that thing, take a look at what you're actually doing, and you might be able to troubleshoot some of this stuff with some drills that actually work well for you. I'm gonna demo the goblet clean next time just for our beginners so we can talk through that a little bit as we do this. You have just about 5 seconds until you finish out your 5th set of swings here. Let's go for it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So if you're goblet cleaning, you want to step so the bell is right under you, not in front of you. You don't want to reach forward for it. Butt's going to come down. Your chest is going to be up a little more than a swing, but that drive through your hips is the same. So use a nice moderate weight kettlebell here for those so you can really work on your hips popping. When you come into your swing, your butt's going to be going back a little bit more than it would be in the goblet clean. It's just a slight difference of your chest position. And the reason that's happening is because when we're swinging, the bell is going out in front of us horizontally. When we're cleaning, the bell is coming up our chest vertically. So we have to set ourselves up for that position before we take each variation. Those of you that are swinging, you should be resting right now. We're gonna go into our 6th set here. Goblet cleans, you can keep doing that. Intermediate, find that rep count that works for you for this next halfway point. We're at the halfway. We have just as much as you did to get through here. Heart rate should be nice and high by now. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Hips go back. The last thing that I want you to pay attention to as you do this, when you stand up, this isn't the last thing, this is part of the last thing, close to the last thing. Do you have kind of flippy wrists here? Does your bell get kind of flippy floppy? That might be because it's too light. If you're struggling with that, I want you to try gripping the bell a little harder and not completely losing your grip at the top. If it feels like the bell's pulling you a little bit, it might be too light for you. We're gonna go ahead and hit your 7th rep set. So this will take you to 70 swings in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's watch that here. Are you kind of like this? The bottom of your bell should be facing forward the entire time. So if I was standing and swinging at you on the camera, that round circle on the bottom of the bell would be facing you. It wouldn't be facing up to the ceiling or down to the floor if I'm kind of moving it too slow. So keep that in mind. For our next few sets, as our heart rates are up, we're finishing this. I want you to concentrate on your breathing. Is your exhale happening as you thrust your hips? Is your inhale happening through your nose as your hips go back? We want to get those sips of air into our body so we don't run out of our breath. Also, it's going to help us with power. So concentrate on your breath for your next set. Let's go ahead, hit set 8 here. Clock is on in 3, 2, and 1. Last layer we're gonna work on today for your next set, so most of you could be resting right about now, is your head position here. This is not good. This is not good. Just because of your neck and for motion, we want to try to keep a neutral chin. So where your eyes go, you go. So if you're looking fully down at the floor in front of you, you're probably going to end up in this tabletop. If you're looking up, you're going to strain your neck a little bit here. So I want you to pretend like you have a little tennis ball here. When you come down, your eye gaze can be either directly in front of you, which feels like I'm looking at my eyebrows, or slightly in front of me, not directly down. Try that out. Here we go. Clock is on 3, 2, and 1. When you video yourself, you're going to watch for this type of thing. That's not where we want to be over time with a big weight being flung through the air. You have to manage yourself a little bit better through this and not let your head be in motion. So if your head is moving, we're going to work on that neutral chin just like you would have if you were in a plank position. You don't really look up like this in a plank. You're looking down towards the floor because of that position. If I flipped you over, you'd be looking straight ahead. So just think about that as you swing. Just with that, we have one more set here. I'm out of breath and I haven't even done all the reps, so you guys hope you're hanging in there. This is a cardio set today, so buckle up. 10 minutes of straight swings, 100 swings. If your back felt tight before this, and you've been doing these with good technique, you probably feel a lot better right about now. Let's go ahead, hit it. 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna find that rib position. I'm gonna send my hips back, tickle the handle, flip it, pull it towards me, breathe in. Neutral chin, hips up with bell. And weight comes down to the floor. So that concludes our set. Notice in that first part, when I was setting up, I didn't just do this. I actually went through those steps. Start getting yourself into that position because in a set like this, you have 60 seconds to do the movement. You don't have to rush. You don't need that whole time. Your rest is built in. Slow down your setup, and these are going to improve a lot. Okay, take your rest break here. We're going to get into the last part of our class, which is going to take 12 minutes, and you're going to need a kettlebell that you feel comfortable push pressing. If you're using a dumbbell today, you either are going to prop it up on something or you're going to be hang cleaning, so holding it in the air to bring it up. I'll kind of explain that as we go through it. So go ahead and bring out your push press bell, something you can use for 30 seconds on each side, and we'll get started. Our final set in this cardio extravaganza today is going to be a dead clean to a push press on one side, then the other side, followed by some quadruped plank pull-throughs, which we'll get to during the set because they're not that complicated. If you are using a kettlebell, you're gonna start on the floor with the bell close to 1 foot. Palm can be facing in, handle will be vertical. We're going to come into the position I talked about earlier with the swings, with the hips dropping slightly so the chest raises a little bit, almost a little like a squat. So it facilitates the bell coming straight up your body. Then you'll bend, push through the floor using the legs to help you lift into a strong overhead position that's locked out. Pull it down, bring the bell to the floor. We're gonna keep repeating this pattern, fully catching the bell for 30 seconds. You might get 4 reps, 5 reps if your weight's kind of moderate. I don't want this to be the heaviest thing you've ever lifted. I want it to be heavy enough that you can move quickly with it. You'll do your opposite side, and then we'll do those quadruped passes. If you have a dumbbell, you can hold it in the hang position, bring it up to the rack position, and then facilitate your push press here, dropping into the hang. Kettlebells, I really want you to practice the dead clean today. If you must do the hang, you can, but I want you to get those booties down. We're gonna work that position, make you move a little more range of motion to get your heart rates up. 30-30 interval is what we got today. 4 rounds of this, 12 minutes of work. You have 30 seconds to get your kettlebell out and make sure that you are ready to rock here. I suggest starting maybe with your dominant side today, just to really feel out your overhead position. You should be plenty warm for this, especially after those swings. Remember your arm bar. We're not here. We are locked out. A locked out joint is a safe joint at the top, knuckles up, using our legs. Weight should be a little bit in the front of our feet for this one, guys. Here we go. First side in 3, 2, and 1. Hips drop. Pull it down, set it down. Notice I'm moving fluidly here through this motion. My weight, again, is not that heavy, so I'm kind of pumping through this. I've also done a few dead cleans in my day. So for me, I can get down here and get into this position pretty quickly. If you're still learning that position, I want you to really think, give me a 1 to 2 second hold, just a pause in the bottom position before you come up. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. So first round of anything, guys, in the Bells Up Studio series, gym series, all these programs is your warm-up set. And we talk a lot about the word warm-up in the beginning, body weight warm-up, heart rate check, get your heart rate up, warm-up. The first set, I always recommend go a little lighter if you need to. Pay a little more attention to your technique, maybe move a little slower than you will in your other sets, because this is kind of setting the tone and letting you figure out what the other sets are gonna feel like. It'll let you know if your weight's too light, too heavy, how you're doing today. Let's go ahead and get your other side in 3, 2, and 1. So use this one to sort of practice these movements. You're not racing against the clock, even though I have you on this 30-second interval. So if this is you, that's not good. It should be bop, pull, down, push, pull, down. Each movement needs to be segmented. 3, 2, and rest. Each movement should feel individual. It shouldn't feel like you're just kind of doing this type of thing. I know that's being a little dramatic, but teaching group fitness out in the wild in the world for years, that happens more often than you think in timed sets. One of the things that those of you that love CrossFit are doing things that are timed for reps in a race kind of format. You got to make sure your technique stays there, because you are more likely to have the injuries happen or things happen to you when you're not paying attention and you're not moving fluidly. Let's get your quadruped passes. You're going to come over your bell towards the side. It should be in the center. I want you to lift your knees, grab the bell and pull it through your body, keeping yourself in the quadruped. Now I want you to kind of reach a little more if you're a little more advanced here. Get yourself some rotation. It's okay if you move a little side to side to get that rotation. I just want you to resist as you pull the bell through from the center. You're gonna be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up to your feet. Let's go ahead and get ready for those push presses. I'm gonna upgrade my bell a little bit here. So an example of taking that first set kind of like a warm-up. Maybe if you have an assortment of weights, go a size, it's sort of conservative, a little smaller. And then if you felt like, great, I can move with that, I'm feeling pretty confident in my overhead position, I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. Make sure the bell is close to the side you're using. Don't really want it in the middle, so we have to pull it over. So kind of snuggle. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So the 16 kilo makes me work a little harder in my dead clean. So notice, as I come up, my heels might lift a little bit. And when you're doing these explosive power movements, that's okay. What I would say, when you're kettlebell swinging and when you're snatching for volume with the swing style, heels should stay down. Other power movements, 3, 2, and 1, like the push press, like the jerk, sometimes like the cleans. I'm cool with your heels coming off the floor if you're exploding vertically, because what is that? It's sending us upward. what we essentially should be doing in those explosive movements. So if that's you, just make sure you have control over yourself if your heels are lifting. If your toes are fully lifting, you might just be getting force from jumping, so just watch that. Let's go ahead and hit your other side. 3, 2, and 1. So I put a little extra bounce in that jump there. You might have seen it with my toes coming off. That's what I want you to just be aware of if it's happening. You have about 5 seconds here, enough to get maybe one more rep in. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Let's go ahead and hit those quadruped passes. If you upgraded your bell, you're damn right, I want you to try to keep that bell. If you have to go down, you have to go down. And if you move back in your shoulders, it's okay, I just don't want your butt sticking up in the air. So just watch that your butt stays kind of down and your knees aren't overly coming off the floor, because if you can stay kind of tabletop as you pull through, I'm okay with you moving a little bit as you reach, just to get more range of motion here. Let's go ahead and hit the quadruped passes in 3, 2, and 1. Bell starts in the center to the side. So there's an example of here I'm shifting, but then I'm pulling it through, keeping my knees down. If you need to shorten your range of motion, maybe you drag here, and that's where you stay. Maybe you practice with your knees down, pulling it through here. If you're not quite feeling it because the knees are up and you don't feel stable there. We have 2 more rounds of this coming up. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. There's something for everyone in that one. So don't get discouraged if the version here isn't quite working for you. We can always kind of scale it back or add a little bit on to the sets. So just know that that is very normal, and this whole thing is practice. Just get used to thinking of this like a practice. I used to say, like, why don't we treat weight training more like a yoga practice, like it's this ongoing thing you do forever and you never fully master it? We should think of it like that. Let's go ahead, hit your first side. 3, 2, and 1. Notice when I come down, I'm not leaning back into my belly. I'm standing up in that plank, pulling it down to my chest, making sure that I'm really taking advantage of that negative. Pull it down. Bring it down with authority. Don't let it drop on you. You've got 3, 2, and rest. Sometimes I get asked, can I dip at the bottom in a push press? Yes, that's not bad, but sometimes there's something to be said of controlling your weight. And right now in this set, I sort of like that control because it slows us down a little. It doesn't give us a chance to kind of drop the bell to the floor in that dead clean. If the dead clean wasn't there, maybe we'd practice the other way. Maybe we wouldn't, who knows? Let's go ahead and go to your other side. Clock is on here in 3, in 2, and 1. If you find a rep count that really works for you in this set, repeat that each time. You have about 3 seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. I'm like 3 seconds, but let me start at 4. You know, sometimes I get iron on the brain when I'm teaching. I'm like thinking about the movements, thinking about the clock, thinking about what's coming next, giving you guys a cue, and then I can't do simple math. So, you know, just accept but that's part of the package here at Bell's Up Studio. Okay, let's go ahead and hit your quadruped passes. Round 3. I made myself so sore with these not too long ago, doing a lot of sets of them. I think we did 8 sets of these in my barbell group, combined with jerks and snatches. And honestly, I was like so happy about it because my abs got so sore from that class, and it was a really nice feeling to have for the weekend. You have less than 5 seconds here. I'm gonna start at 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. we have arrived in your final set here. 3 minutes left in your class. You have push presses. You have a final set of quadruped passes. And let's just go ahead and give these ones full power. I don't want you to worry about it too much. Let your body flow with this one. Part of kettlebell training is learning the technique and then realizing that tension, relaxation are both very important. So we need to relax a little bit in this to be able to make the bell pop up. So don't overthink it, is what I'm trying to say. Let's go ahead, try it out. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. I just try to think of keeping the kettlebell close to my body and almost like I want my arm to sort of stay in the midline of my body, because I find sometimes it's easy to let it come out this way when the bell gets heavy. If you think of bringing it a little more to the center, it might help you keep it straight in line on the side of you, because it's not really gonna come here. It'll be more here, but rest here if you're not. Sometimes that really helps me, at least when the bell gets big. And part of the reason that happens isn't necessarily you, it's just because of the shape of that round object. Because it sticks out on us a little bit here, it just naturally feels that way. So play around with how it feels for you once the bell starts getting kind of big for your person. Okay, here we go. Clock is on 3, 2, 1. These should really get your heart rate up if they're heavy or if you're moving fluidly for these 30-second intervals. 1-to-1 work-rest ratios. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Really effective way to kind of keep that heart rate steady. Not like you're running sprints, but it's not like you're doing, I guess, a slower grind set. We're sort of keeping that continuous pace rolling through here. Whew. Okay guys, I'm pretty warm, I have to say. 100 kettlebell swings, a few push presses. That'll really get a few drips, maybe a little shine on the face. I'm the queen of shine on camera. So, you know, I'm just gonna be accepting of that. Let it happen. Here we go, last set of quadruped passes. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. Remember progressions. We're here. Then we're here, pulling just right next to us. Then we're going a little further. We're starting to reach, we're starting to move a little bit. We're still keeping our knees down as we move. Whew. Keep it going for 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Class 2 in this set is done. You guys are finished with your cardio set for the day. I hope those swings and push presses really did the trick. I will see you guys in your next class here with Bells Up Studio. Again, I'm Lacey, and if you have questions, send them, drop them in the comments. Love to know. And if you're loving this program, also let me know, because it helps. These ones are all gonna be 30 minutes or under. Most of them between 20 and 30 is the goal. I hope you enjoy this set, and I will see you very soon. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. Bye.